Hello everybody, my name is Beck. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be going through all the books that I intend to read in the month of November. If you are a returning subscriber, then you've probably seen some of these books before. Don't clock me on it. I read a lot of books last month in October and they were not Halloween related because I don't personally celebrate it myself and I don't really do anything for the spooky season, so it really didn't change anything. Unfortunately, I am a mood reader and having a Kindle Unlimited subscription and access to the local library database is both a blessing and a freaking curse. But for this month, I have hope for myself. At least for this book in particular. So to start off with, I recently bought The Agathas by Kathleen Glasson and Liz Lawson. This one is about a town cursed with missing girls, bad boyfriends, family secrets, and very steep cliffs. The reason why I'm going to read this book in the month of November was because I finally have access to the audiobook courtesy to my local libraries and I would like to return the audiobook ASAP. I was third in line and someone skipped it to me and I feel bad for holding up that spot, so I will be reading this first. I just realized it's from the same author that wrote One of Us is Lying. I haven't read that book yet, but I heard it's like really good and it's really popular. Finally, like a change of pace, nothing like romance related. If you are new to my channel, I read primarily like romance, but I do like suspense and thrillers and horror stories and ghost stories. I'm all about that life. I also really like horror movies. I don't know if that surprises anybody. It feels like every single time I tell someone I'm into horror, they don't believe me. The second book I really want to read, I've been saying this for like 3 months straight, is Set on You by Amy Lee. Here's the thing, okay, like I bought the audiobook, it was less than $5 Australian. I had every intention of reading this, but when you have like a bunch of library loans due, like my priority is the library loans first. I can read it anytime I want. I really want to read it before the second book of this series comes out next year. I heard really good things about this book and has like really good representation, like I mentioned like many times before. I'm going to force myself to film a reading vlog and this will be featured in it. I feel like otherwise I'm not going to read it, but I'm definitely going to read this one first because there's a library loan attached to it and I feel bad for holding up my spot, and this one might be my second. Actually no, I'm gonna read all my library books first, then that one will be my top priority. This one's not too bad because this is like the second time in a row you're seeing it, so this is like a second month of me saying that I want to read this book, but I seriously just didn't have the motivation all the time to really sit down and read this. I think this is a relatively short book. It's very doable. It's pretty thin. I could probably read this in one sitting if I really put my mind towards it. I want to see whether or not I like this book and I have high hopes for it because I've only ever seen like super negative or super positive, nothing in between. I want to see whether or not I would like this book. I can say for a fact that I will finish this one because it's a manga. And this is Persona 5. This Persona 5 manga, I got it for 20% off during like the Viz manga sale at Dimmix. 100% going to finish this. But I already know what happens because I've played the video game and I really enjoy the storyline. Do I really need a manga? Because I read a couple of pages already and it's like a repeat. So if you don't like playing video games, like I suppose you can pick this one up because the story is like pretty decent. If this is the first time you've ever seen me, this is like the first video I've seen of mine. I play a lot of video games. I also have like a video game channel. It's called Kawaii Lola. If you want to look it up and see what the hell I'm up to like over there. I played this game many times. I've tried to platinum trophy it. It's really hard because it's like pretty long. Pretty sure it's the same as the storyline as the video game, but I'm just gonna read it since I already got it. See what is up. Okay, I think this is a repeat from last month. In my defense, there was a lot of Kindle Unlimited stuff that I wanted to read first and library loan, and I wanted to read the first book of this series because this is actually the second book. So this is A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. The first book is still available on Kindle Unlimited. What is it called? I don't know what it's called, but I'll put it somewhere here. Oh, I think the first book is called Things I Wanted to Say by the Lancaster Prep series. I wrote this down because I did a book haul video like not too long ago and this was featured in it. I would like to read the first book first, then this one, and then the third one. But that's really ambitious. So let's start off with like the first book, Potential for TBR, and then this one. We shall see what happens this month. Very ambitious. And this is like the final rom-com-y book that I want to read. It's The Roommate by Rosie Danan. Okay, do I have an excuse for this? This has been on my TBR for the past how many months at this point? I'm still stuck at chapter 5. At this point in time, should I just DNF it? But I do have access to the audiobook, and I think if I speed it up to 2.5, I can get it over and done with. I don't know, a lot of people have told me that I should just DNF it at this point, but I'm also stubborn when it comes to like DNFing stuff. I can't do it, and I end up going into a reading slump because I don't know how to DNF. But I have started DNFing books that I want to finish this book because I bought it. So yeah, we have The Agathas, Set on You, My Killer Vacation, Persona 5 first volume, A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, and The Roommate. And last but not least, that is not fiction related, is this. This is a memoir by Jenna McCurdy, I'm Glad My Mom Died. Have high hopes for this. I waited like 2 weeks for this book to come out, and it looks like a relatively quick read because the text is pretty big and it's pretty thin. My cover is unfortunately like crinkled because of Amazon, but I'm just gonna have to take it out to read it. This might come off as a very controversial statement, but I prefer reading ebooks on the Kindle rather than having the physical book, so maybe that's why I'm having a harder time like reading off an actual book. And I also like audiobooks because I can multitask. Since I am addicted to buying physical books, I'm going to learn to read physical books again. This is such a first world problem. Okay, now that we're done with the physical book component of this video, I'm gonna move on to the digital ebooks and whatnot. Okay, so finally I'm going to start on the Broken Bonds series by J. Bree. The series is called The Bonds That Tie Book 1 to 6. All 6 books are finally out, and 4 of them are available in audiobook format. I do have the Kindle Unlimited version. I want to read it before it gets traditionally published. I don't know if it will be, but I'm just having suspicion it might be, so I grabbed it. I'm gonna start on it. At least the first 4 books I will be listening to the audiobook while I read it on Kindle Unlimited. I'm hoping I'll at least finish the first book. I've heard really good things about the series. I'm really into like monster romance and anything paranormal, supernatural. I don't want to read contemporary, which is probably why I'm having trouble reading these books even though I keep buying them. I was into a contemporary romance phase in the beginning of the year, but now I have switched on to like these sorts of books. But anyway, nothing wrong with that. I don't know, I just got a random recommendation like House of Kwa by Mimi Kwa is free, so you can grab that. I just got a freaking alert for it, so here you go. I don't know if it's gonna be free by the time I post this video, but fingers crossed. I don't know, that was random. I was gonna hop in to check on like some library books that I have due, but anyway, let's move on. So I currently have 2 books on my Libby app, which is due in like 4 days. One is 10 Trends to Seduce Your Best Friend by Penny Reid. I have read stuff from Penny Reid before, and it's due in 4 days, so I have to read it soon, but I have to read it off my phone, which is not my fave. I can't send the ebooks to my Kindle because they don't allow it in Australia, so I will be reading off my phone. So that's like the first book that I need to finish. And the second book is The Decoy Girlfriend by Lily Vale, and I am really excited to read it. I've seen it all over TikTok at one point in my life, and I didn't realize it was available at my local library, so I'm really excited for it. It's also due at the same time. These 2 books were available for like months on end. Nobody was like borrowing it, and I was like, you know what, it's finally time for me to borrow it because no one's interested. But the moment I hit to borrow, 3 people are now waiting on me, and I feel really bad for holding up their spot, but I don't get it. Maybe it finally showed up on their radar when I borrowed it, but anyway, I don't know how Libby works at my local library, so there's that. And the other book I currently have on hold is Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. It's like really expensive. Only store that sells this book I think is my local Dimmix, and it's $30, and I'm just so freaking happy that my library carries this book. I have to wait like 2 weeks for it, which is fine because I am in no hurry to read this book, but I'm excited that I just don't have to pay for it, so I'm looking forward to that book as well. I heard really mixed reviews about it, but hey, I don't have to pay for it, so that's great. I also forgot to mention that I also have Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid on hold for audiobook, and that was on Borrow Box, but I don't think I'm going to read anything from Taylor Jenkins Reid after I'm done with my physical TBR and my loan. but I just don't feel comfortable supporting her. So that will be the end of her, but I'm just going to mention it here that I will be reading that. But since it's a library loan, I don't feel as guilty. So there's that. I was thinking of adding the Twisted series by Anna Hong because I know the 4th book, the audiobook, will come out on the 3rd of November. But here's the thing. I don't have time to really squeeze in more contemporary romance, and I know for a fact that I'm just gonna go on my Kindle Unlimited and read like random paranormal romance like I did last month. Do you want to see a wrap up video of all the books that I read last month? It's gonna be a catastrophe because, as you can probably tell, I'm not good at describing stuff. And if you see a repeat on my TBR potential list next month, please don't call me out. Life happens, okay? I'm trying my best here. So these are all the books that I intend to read in the month of November. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. If you have anything you'd like to say to me or recommend, leave it down below. Hit the bell for notifications. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content from me. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!